Okay, so back to where we started here. I had to answer my door. So basically, okay, I figured this out. I had copied and pasted this comment. This should be send red data to write server. So essentially, just a quick overview here again. Read coils is still something that's being utilized even with Modbus Master. These three aren't. The floats are not included on Modbus Master, but we're able to write coils from Modbus Master. I just continued to use this. So these two pretty much do everything except for this. Now, and some more stuff. So basically, what's happening here is this is connected to Modbus Master and it's connected down here. Now what this does, it's not toggling values. When this is pressed, we're actually going here where this is going to our read coils here, and it's notifying, it's reading the coils, and then the output is coming back here. It's going to write to the server. So it's not toggling anything. What it's doing is it's reading the coils in the Scadapack, and it's copying those values into the Modbus server. And this will be for, say, let's say Cygnet wants to see what's in the Scadapack. Let's say Cygnet can't directly read what's in the Scadapack. And so basically Cygnet can trigger this, right? We can set this up so that Cygnet is to trigger this. Essentially when this is triggered, then it's going to read from here. It triggers this. This goes to Modbus Master. So it triggers this, and it reads, and then it also triggers this, right? It delays it so that we get the right order of operation here. And then it does the same thing that we discussed here, and splits it, combines it, and then decides, okay, are we reading or are we read writing? Because if we're just reading, then it's going to clear this guy, right? This will be triggered. It's going to clear this guy, and nothing will be sent. But if we're read writing and this was pressed here because we're trying to copy the values in the Scadapack to the Modbus server, then this will be triggered. It'll go through here, and then it'll check, okay, did that null string come? Yep, the null string came. So let's send this message. Then it sends it back to this, write coils on server from Scadapack, which is right here. So it goes right here. This is write to Modbus server, and now this goes up. Boom, and it writes those values to the Modbus server. So after that operation, the values in the Modbus server are the same as the values in the Scadapack. So that's that. Now, some of the other things that I did on the Modbus server here are, or the Modbus Master flow, is I have set up a read coils from the Modbus server. See, this is read coils from the Scadapack. Like, I should even change the name of this. This is read coils from Scadapack. Okay, so that's what that's doing. It's reading from the Scadapack. This read function is the exact same thing that I showed you before, except it's reading from the Modbus server. And you see, these are little comment nodes. You can grab these and you can write comments. So I've kind of commented stuff, and this, so this everything here is read coils from the Modbus server, and then here is write coils on the Scadapack. So that was kind of this. This is now kind of redundant, and then this is write coils on the Modbus server, this. There's a couple different ways to do that, right? And I'll go over that here. So let's just kind of start from the beginning. As you know, we've got a Modbus server. We've got the ability to read from the Modbus server. So we'd hit this, boom, we'll read. This is going to trigger this guy, and this guy's going to clear both of these because we're just reading, so we don't need to we don't need to write to Scadapack. See, this is write to Scadapack, and we don't need to write to the server. This might be a wrong comment that I copied and pasted here. Let's see where this goes. Copy coils and server to Scadapack. And this goes down here. Oh no, okay, so yeah, right. So it writes to Scadapack, right? I was thinking it was reading, but yeah, of course, that makes sense. So essentially, like I said, this reads from the server, triggers this. This guy triggers both of these because we're just reading, and that's it. We're not doing anything else. We're reading, and we're not writing to the Scadapack, and we're not writing to the server. Now, if we go down here, and let's say we would like to write coils to the Scadapack. Well, this is literally identical to over here. We can manually write right here, or we can copy the coils in the Modbus server to the Scadapack. Now, this is good if, say, Cygnet wants to send data to be written to the Scadapack. For instance, Cygnet says, okay, send this. The Moxa is acting as an interface, right? It's saying, okay, send this, and then the node red here, the Moxa, is just transferring that information to the Scadapack. It's acting as an interface between the two. So essentially, if Scada triggered this, then what's going to happen is, or if you trigger this, or you have this on a polling, interval or whatever you're doing, that can all be set up. Basically, what it's going to do is, if you click here, you look, it triggers this guy, and this is going to wipe this guy clean because we don't need to. We're not writing to server, so we're wiping this guy clean. And then also it triggers this read up here, which reads the coils from the Modbus server, and then we've got this, which again, same thing as before. It notifies this function that this is what we're doing, right? That null string comes in here, that empty string, boom, and then this comes out. And then this goes down here, and it writes to the Scadapack. And this is the same as what we discussed before. It's just writing to the Scadapack. So that's pretty straightforward. I think that should be easy to understand for whoever's watching this video. If you just kind of follow along and maybe pause the video and just kind of click on the nodes and see what they're connected to and stuff. It's the same as what we were doing over here, and I explained that. I think that so this should be pretty straightforward. Now here, this is just a write coils on the Modbus server, so we can manually do it, and we can put a comment here, and we can say, here, manually write to server, right? And so that's just a way, okay, we can do that. And then, just keep in mind that these inject nodes, right, they can be replaced with other scheduling nodes, or whatever it is. You could replace it. There's probably other nodes and different things you could do as well. Like you could even you could use one of these MQTT nodes, for instance, right, and have this MQTT subscribe to a topic that has a null string. That's a way to do it. So now this here, this is read Modbus server and toggle the values in the Modbus server. So if this is triggered, we look, this goes up here, and it triggers this guy, and this guy wipes this one clean. And this is because we're not writing to the Scadapack, we're writing to the server. So it's going to wipe this guy. Now, this one here, triggers this read right there. Boom. It's being read, and then we've got our notify again, right? So we go up here and we send that null string in here, and we notify it that we're not going to be reading, we're going to be read writing. And it's going to actually send the message right there. And then this is going to go out, and this is going to go to a write server function, right? And so this is write on server, goes in here, you know, and it's going to toggle. I guess I've got it connected to toggle. Right, yes. Getting almost confusing myself here. And then, yeah, so then we toggle the values, and then we write to the server. And this is the same toggle function it's the same toggle we've used before. So that should be pretty straightforward to understand. And again, see, we just note we use that node.send message, and we use that because we're performing asynchronous actions, asynchronous logic here, and then we're also sending this payload that this flex writer needs to actually write, right? Our function code, our address, our quantity of coils that we're writing to, and whatnot. So, so that's that. And then you go down here, and this is what we already discussed, right? That copy coils in the Scadapack to the Modbus server. So, just a little overcap here of what we're able to do. So we're able to read from the Modbus server, just read. Then we're also able to write to the Scadapack manually. We are able to copy coils in the Modbus server to the Scadapack, and remember the Modbus server is something that Cygnet can send data to. So that data can be passed to the Modbus server and then passed to the Scadapack. The other thing we can do is we can manually write to the server. Okay, and that's just write. We can manually write to the server. Yeah, right, and that's it. And I was just thinking here, I'm like, do we need a one of those clearing nodes or whatever? But we don't, because it'll only affect these ones, because nothing gets output back into here. So it'll only affect these ones, and we do have those up there, so up here. And and then this one is going to read the Modbus server and toggle the values in the server. Again, like this whole toggling thing, I just did this because it's a way to just prove that we can perform logic, right? It's just logic, and that's why I made a toggle, because toggle's easy. And this toggle could be easily adjusted to just change the value, right? Like change the value, you know, instead of here. What we've done is we've read like 8 values, and we're toggling all 8. But like, for instance, you could just toggle 1 value, right? And this loop goes through, and this is what toggles, and it goes to the payload's length. So it starts at 0, and then it goes up to the payload's length, and it keeps looping until it's reached the end of the array of coils. So if there's 8 coils, this payload dot length is going to be equal to 8, and then it just goes in here. It says, well, if the value in the value I in the array, so this would be like the first iteration of the loop, is false, then push a true value into it. And if it's true, then push a false value into it. And then it keeps going through, and it just keeps toggling them, right? So that just shows that we can change values, right? It's pretty handy. So so I think that that's just about it. Now, I didn't play with any logic for the floats at all, but that would be quite easy to do. Like if you were going to, you could just do it in the same way that we've done things over here. But say you wanted to like adjust the value of a float, right? Let's say you want to, I don't know, increase the temperature of something by 22.3 degrees. Well, you could just make a little function here, or not there, sorry. You would want to read the value, and then you'd want to make a function that says, okay, if that value read, you'd want to connect it to here and have it trigger this, and you'd say something like, if the value is equal to this, then add 2 point or 25 point whatever. Or maybe you'd say if the value is greater than 62.354, then shut down, like an ESD, like close the valve or something, and that would just be write maybe read a float and then write a coil, say. So I think that's pretty easy to follow along. Everything, I think, like I've covered everything, I believe, in regards to what the program I've written can do. And I hope that it's understood that the whole point here is that I've shown that this logic can be performed and that you can read and write and all these things. And Riley is familiar with MD Bus and the ability that MD Bus has to write to this server remotely or within the network. And so that's it. Now just remember there's a lot of different nodes, and you can easily go through and learn about them by reading the node information, and you can also go and you can download more by going to our palette manager and searching and installing them, and then when you install them, they'll just show up here. This dashboard stuff is just like an HMI that will run in your browser on a different port number, and so it'll you can just create an HMI basically. It's basically HTML code is what it is, I think that's about it. The other thing I did want to show was some of the MQTT stuff. So maybe I'll show that in the next video. But anyway. Have a good one, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.